Hello everyone, welcome back to another card combo show with me, Chocobilly, and we are on the very cusp of Opus 22 releasing. Penelo is the card I'm looking at this week, so she is a 2 CP 5k wind forward from Opus 17 with the text at the end of each of your turns, deal 1000 damage for each card you have cast this turn to all the forwards opponent controls. Dull one active job dancer or card named dancer other than Penelo, choose one forward, its power becomes 4000 until the end of the turn. So obviously a very tribal card focused heavily on 1 multicasting and 2 dancers. Now Penelo isn't actually that good of a card because of the fact that you have to wait until the end of your turn to get off her trigger rather than that happening throughout the actual turn, which means that your opponent can respond and kill her before her trigger is anywhere near happening, and you might have invested a lot in getting that trigger. Obviously there are means of protecting her through things like Mayakov, who protects her dancers from abilities, but still not too hard to get rid of. But that's not to say that there aren't things you can do with her, and it's typical win stuff. So the first thing is No-No. So when No-No enters the field, activate all the wind characters you control. Obviously works nicely with the dull active job dancers because it means that you can reactivate them through No-No and then use then set more things to 4k if you wanted. But also at the end of each of your turns, choose one forward you control, activate it. So you can activate a dancer at the end of your turn, and then during your opponent's turn, dull that forward to then make your opponent's forwards 4k on their turn as well. Hope. So obviously when a dull character when a dull character you control becomes active due to your summons or abilities, choose up to 2 characters you control, activate them. It's effectively and trigger once per turn. So No-No is a fantastic card with Hope because it means you effectively get 3 characters back. Obviously you will only get at max 2 backups back because No-No has to activate a forward, but still activating a forward and 2 backups off of No-No's effect is super strong. And again, utilizing Penelo, it means that you can then set potentially 3 forwards to 4k in your opponent's turn, stopping them from attacking potentially. Right, Dancer. Obviously there's going to be a lot of dancers that combo with Penelo, but there are a few that I've showcased in this, and this dancer, especially from Opus 21, is incredibly strong because it's effectively free, and utilizing it in a certain combo, well, there's so many combos you can do in Wind, right, but utilizing it in certain ways means that you can effectively work on both of Penelo's effect using this dancer. So obviously this dancer will have its cost reduced by 2 if you control a job dancer or card named dancer. So as long as you control Penelo, she costs only 2k, and then when Dancer enters the field, choose up to 2 characters, activate them. So you dull 2 backups, play Dancer onto the field, activate those 2 backups. It is effectively a free card, which is really, really strong. But that's all it does, is it activates 2 characters. Obviously, they don't have to be the backups that you dulled, but they can be. So play Dancer onto the field, and then you can immediately dull Dancer for Penelo's effect. Then bounce Dancer back to your hand using Chocobo. You get to draw a card, and that counts as a second cast for Penelo. Now, if you've got a Tomos, that means you get those 2 backups back again. So you play Dancer, 2 backups back, cast Chocobo with the Tomos, get 2 backups back. You then replay the Dancer, get your 2 backups back. This is now cast 3, and so far all your backups are still active, and you've actually drawn a card. You then cast Alexander, cast 4, draw 2 cards because you've cast 4 things. And then with Evray, it means that you get that backup back as well. So you have played Dancer twice, which you can have dulled twice for Penelo's effect, set 2 things to 4k. You've drawn off of Chocobo, and you've drawn twice off of Alexander, and all your backups are still active. All you have needed in hand is Alexander, Chocobo, and Dancer. And there's a good chance that you could have drawn, you know, some of those cards just off of the draws from Chocobo Alexander anyway. So, you know, it's pretty easy to do. And yeah, like I said, that's then what, 4 casts. You've set 2 things to 4k by dulling the Dancer twice. Even if you just passed your turn there, Penelo would kill 2 things. Diablos is also a really good card for this combo, but also just in general for Penelo's effects. So choose one forward, its power becomes 3000 until the end of the turn. If you've cast 4 or more cards this turn, all the forwards' power becomes 3000 until the end of the turn instead. That does include your own forwards as well, so be mindful of that, because if your opponent has a board wipe subscription that they can cast on, well, whenever you're casting Diablos with 4 casts, yeah, that does ultimately mean that you could lose your forwards as well. But yeah, just with the combo I just said, and then you throw Diablos into there without even having to have dulled the Dancer, you have set all your opponents for all the forwards to 3k. I mean, you could, by the time you've triggered Diablos's set everything to 3k, you'll already have enough casts through Penelo to kill all your opponent's forwards anyway, so you're overshooting at that point. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because a silly amount of people that are watching these videos aren't actually subscribed, can't speak, and it does make a big difference to the channel, not only to me personally, but also to the YouTube algorithm. The more people that subscribe, the more people it will recommend the video, and it kind of snowballs. So yeah, please make sure to like and subscribe, because it actually makes a meaningful difference to the channel. Barbarisha. Play a Barbarisha onto the field, set something to 1k. Pass turn, Penelo kills the forward. Simple as that. It also works with the Opus 2 Mumba summon as well, which is hilarious. Matoya, I mentioned earlier, obviously lots of dancers work really well. Penelo, there's the one that deals 2k at the end of the turn if it's dull and things like that. But Matoya I really like with Penelo, because you play Matoya onto the field, choose one forward, its power becomes 4,000. You can then dull Matoya to set another forward to 4,000. You can then pay 3 to put Matoya into the break zone, deal 4,000 damage to all the forwards opponent controls, and then you pass turn, Penelo deals an additional 1k damage through the playing of Matoya as well. You have played a total of 6, technically 8 if you count them, but not count the Matoya from hand. But regardless, that's hopefully killing a lot of things at the same time. Odin, so choose one forward. If it has 7,000 power more or less, sorry, break it. And then if you control a cadet forward, break it regardless of its power. But yeah, you can just choose a forward, or set a forward to 4k using one of Penelo's effects, and then cast the Odin, immediately kill it. Basically increasing the cost of this Odin by 1 CP technically, but you can dull a forward instead. But you get to kill whatever forward you want, so yeah, not too bad. Venera Fens, so you get to just set things to 4k, attack with Venera, pay a crystal, kill all the forwards set to 4k, because they then lose 5k. So even if there is a static power buff on the field, pushing them from 4k to 5, probably still going to die as well. And yeah, setting something to 4k and then losing 5k power, it's put from the field into the break zone, isn't technically broken, so it's just a nice way just to be able to hopefully just get rid of a lot of things pretty quickly. Hippocampos, bit of a weird one, because Penelo wants you to be dulling things, but Hippocampos wants you to be dulling things as well. So it feels like they're kind of working against each other. But let's say hypothetically you've got 5 backups, you've got Penelo on the field, Hippocampos on the field, maybe a dancer forward, and let's say 2 of your backups are dancers as well. You can dull your 2 dancer backups and your dancer forward, set 3 of your opponent's forwards to 4k. You can then dull Penelo and 2 other backups to use Hippocampos' effect. Now 5 backups, 1 dancer forward, Penelo, 1 dancer forward other than Penelo, and Hippocampos. That's 8 characters, which means you'll deal 4k to your opponent's board. Using Penelo's effect, you set 3 things to 4k, so you should get a board wipe. And then you also have Hippocampos ready to attack as well. And again, you are in wind, so you could then potentially cast on Asura, reactivate the forwards for them to attack as well, or just reactivate all your backups as well if you wanted. Cagnazzo. A stupid one, but yeah, if Cagnazzo, when Cagnazzo enters the field, until the end of the turn, all the forward opponent controls lose 1,000 power for every 2 water characters you control. So dancers are kind of in water. There's 3? No, sorry, there's 4. There's Mayakov, Andrea Rodea, the 2-cost water dancer backup, and the 1-cost water dancer forward, which makes your opponent's forwards lose their abilities, or it might be 2 costs, I can't remember now. But yeah, so you can go into, well, there are deck builds with water dancers as well. So long as you have 8, then Cagnazzo will be able to reduce your opponent's field forwards by 4k. You then obviously use Penelo to set those forwards to 4k. They then just pop and go into the break zone. Yep, so Penelo. That was a pretty short episode, I admit, but it's a card I've been wanting to look at for a little while. I really like dancers. Ultimately, I am just super hyped for Opus 22 because we've now had all the cards spoiled and they look like a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay safe, be lucky, and I will see you in the next episode.